Protesting students filled Stellenbosch University's central square. It's in South Africa's Afrikaner heartland. Afrikaans was viewed by many as the language of the oppressor during apartheid, and it used to be the language of instruction here. Now Afrikaans and English are supposed to be on equal footing, but these students say lecturers favour Afrikaans.
So it isn't simply a question of language as a teaching and learning tool, language as a communication tool, but it's also about language and the ways in which that is connected to the institutional culture that continues in this apartheid spirit unabated.
Many of the men who created the apartheid system, which enforced racial segregation, went to this university. It was once whites only. The transition to being multiracial hasn't been easy. Students have described incidents of racism on and off campus in a documentary called Luister, Listen in Afrikaans. The Minister of Higher Education was so angry when he saw it that he summoned the university's management to Parliament.
There can be no institutional autonomy to pursue racism whatsoever. That's unconstitutional.
Stellenbosch's Vice-Chancellor says the university takes accusations of racism seriously. He fired a member of staff and suspended a student accused of using racist slurs.
This is a completely different place in terms of transformation, but we're on a journey. We're imperfect, we're incomplete, but we're resolute and steadfast.
In April, a student movement succeeded in having a statue of British imperialist Cecil Rhodes removed from the University of Cape Town. They're supporting the Stellenbosch students' protest.
What these students represent is a generation of young South Africans who are tired of just waiting for transformation to happen.
As black people, we are tired.
The university says it will increase the number of black representatives and women on its governing body, but that may not be enough to make these students feel they belong. Tanya Page, Al Jazeera, Stellenbosch, South Africa.
Nayebu Muhammad has been working the mines for 17 years. He dropped out of school because he says his parents couldn't afford the expenses. But soon he may have to look for another job because the authorities are planning to crack down on illegal mining. And Nayebu is not amused.
This is my life. I can't do anything else. If anyone wants to take this job away from me, he must give me a home, a decent wage, and all the comforts of life.
Most of the gold prospecting may be small scale and crude, but the turnover for people like him is huge. A good day can fetch hundreds of dollars. And those are the dollars the government also wants. For a long time, enforcement against illegal mining has been weak. But not anymore. Now the authorities want Nayebu and hundreds like him to pay taxes on their earnings.
If miners are paying their taxes, Zamfara will actually develop because the resources that we have, the miners that are coming to Zamfara, if they are given their own revenue, actually there should be a great development in Zamfara.
The federal government, which has rights over natural resources like gold, said tight regulations are underway.
Gold processing units like this litter the northwest of Nigeria. Most are unlicensed. As such, they hardly pay taxes. But the biggest challenge before the government is to get the main mining companies to pay.
But the miners say they are willing to pay taxes if the government could end corruption.
We can pay more taxes than the foreigners because we want the government to stop foreigners from coming to Nigeria for the mining and leave the Nigerians only to enjoy its wealth.
For now, that is not what the government wants to do. It wants to stop illegal mining and bring in investors with the capacity to generate revenue and jobs in the sector. Which means more difficult times are likely ahead for small-time miners. Ahmed Idris, Bagega, Nigeria.
And yes, as you probably could have guessed by this moment, I have decided in 2020 to run for president.
Kanye now is already making changes. Kanye now is already the person that's getting movement and getting people, because he's that guy. He's like, I'm doing this. If you're coming with me, then come with me. So going for president for him, I think it's actually, there's probably a chance that he actually could, because he's representing a generation of people that would say, you know what, I'm going to run with this guy, because he seems like he's coming from more of a place of heart and intuition. But anyone I've seen who ever gets into the actual position of Prime Minister or President seems like they kind of morph into the same thing that you were trying to get the last guy out of, and it seems to be the same old process which we've seen for years and years. They were talking about Kasabian. I said, listen, they're a band that I would love to collaborate with. I just think it's a little eclectic, a little off the wall for what people would expect, because some of the more obvious people that I love to work with would be the Drakes of this world, the J. Coles, the Kendrick Lamars, people that I'm like, The Weeknd, people that I'm just like, oh man, you're taking it. Even Ed Sheeran is someone that I've got a lot of love for, because it's very acoustic based. I love acoustic guitar. It's kind of what I started off doing when I came through. I feel like now you can kind of be whatever you want to be. So if I can go out with my band, I can go out with my acoustic guitarist, but also I can do a TS5 show which incorporates all of it if I really want. So it's in its early stages, which is exciting for me, because when something's just starting, you know where it can go, and you just want to feel how the crowd react to it, and so far it's been amazing.
There was good news for the US economy on Thursday, as predicted GDP for the second quarter this year increased at an annual rate of 2.3%. The advance estimate from the Bureau of Economic Analysis also revised the first quarter figure from a slight decrease to a slight increase of 0.6%. The Bureau said the increase in the second quarter reflected positive contributions from personal consumption, exports, state and local government spending and residential fixed investment. The Federal Reserve statement from Wednesday backed up the positive outlook, stating that the US economy and job market are continuing to strengthen. The development allows for the possibility of an interest rate hike when central bank policymakers next meet in September. The Fed's latest statement noted that the economy had overcome a first quarter slowdown and was expanding moderately. After the Fed statement, US stocks rose and the dollar was stronger against a basket of currencies.
The third round of the WTA Rogers Cup saw world number one Serena Williams take a straight sets victory over Petkovic. It is the fifth time Petkovic has played and been defeated by the top-seeded player. Williams put her German opponent under pressure and eventually broke her in the eighth game of the opening set. While Petkovic fought impressively, she was unable to create any breakpoint opportunities throughout the match. With her sheer power, Williams held all 9 of her service games and finished the match at 6-3, 6-2, which takes her through to the quarterfinals against Roberta Vinci, a player she has consistently beaten 3 times before. Also through with a similar streak of straight sets is Serbian Ana Ivanovic with a 6-3, 6-2 win against Polona Hercog. The fifth-seeded player quickly grabbed the lead, breaking Hercog in the 6th game of the first set to lead 4-2. But Hercog remained focused and put up a fight, holding serve at the start of the second set. Ultimately, Ivanovic kept control of the match and duly won to take her place in the quarterfinals. She will play against Belinda Bencic, who she beat in Beijing last year.